Before I start the video, I just wanted to give a brief message on everything that's happening right now in terms of the Black Lives Matter movement. I was going to do a video on this, but even being a person of colour, I have never faced racism. I don't want the spotlight to be on me at all. I want the spotlight to be on my black peers, my black friends who have experienced racism. What I implore each and every one of you to do is to please educate yourself on why racism is still so prevalent and still such a big issue in society, by reading books, by watching other people's stories on YouTube, by reading people's blogs, by talking to black people around you. 2, change doesn't start from society until it starts from your home. If one of your friends, if one of your family says something racist, if they act in a way that's prejudiced, talk to them, educate them, challenge them. And 3, protest, sign petitions, put pressure on your MPs to change how ingrained racism is in today's society. Okay, so now on a brighter note, let's get on with the video. Today's video is going to be part of a really long series on my channel where I give you step-by-step guides on how to be successful in getting into medical school. In this series there'll be videos on how to ace your biology, chemistry and physics A-level, how to create the perfect personal statement, how to do really well in your UCAT and BMAT. You can check out the videos that are already on my channel where I give you a step-by-step guide on how to ace the MMI interview and my video on how to get an A-star in chemistry A-level. Today's video is all about how to choose the perfect medical school for you, and in my opinion this is the most crucial step to successfully applying to medical school. In this video I'm going to give you guys all the tips that I used, that I learned from applying to the wrong medical schools, and that I've seen other people use. Before we get started, please do make sure to follow my Instagram at imaraswasot, so you don't miss out on any Q&As that I do, which I answer on my channel, and so that you don't miss out on any productivity or fitness tips I put out on my Instagram story. Please make sure to keep liking all my videos, commenting, subscribing, sharing my videos. So before I give you some tips, I just wanted to give you a bit of background as to what medical schools I applied for and what my application looked like. I applied to the University of Exeter, the University of Nottingham, the University of Bristol and the University of Birmingham. My GCSEs were 9 A stars and 2 A's. My A-levels were biology, chemistry and physics, in which I got 2 A stars in biology and chemistry and an A in physics. My UCAT was the poorest part of my application by far. My overall score was 2,420, which equates to 605 per in each one. However, I did manage to get band 1 in the situational judgment section. I got 2 offers out of the 4 medical schools I applied for, and the 2 universities I got offers for are the 2 universities I interviewed for. So I interviewed for and got offers for University of Exeter and University of Nottingham, and I did not get any interviews or offers from University of Birmingham and University of Bristol. From the feedback that I got from both MMI interviews, I got 100% in each interview. But that isn't for me to boast, it is essentially to give you a background as to, considering I had quite a strong application, why did I only get 2 offers when I know so many of my humanities friends would get 5 offers, and where I went wrong. So step 1, and I wish I'd followed this sooner, don't follow your intuition, because your intuition will be very ill-informed. It will be based on what university your parents go to, what university you think is prestigious, what university your friends are going to or your boyfriend is going to. If you base the medical school you apply to on these factors, you will not be successful. The really interesting thing about medicine is that you can have a strong application, but let's say you apply to 4 universities which are not suited to you, you could end up with no offers. So my biggest tip for this step is do not follow league tables or rankings, because you are applying to do medicine, which you will then use to start working in the NHS. The NHS does not discriminate from the University of Oxford to University of East Anglia, for example. It's much more important that you find a course that will enable you to learn effectively so that you can go on to qualify to become a doctor. So the next steps are going to be about the elimination process you should do in order to select the correct medical schools for you. So there are 33 medical schools in the UK and you can only pick 4. So my second step is to eliminate any universities you do not meet the entry requirements for. So you can use the tool, which I'll link in the description, which is, I think, a tool by the Medic Portal, which basically lists out the entry requirements of every single university. So these entry requirements include your A-level grades, GCSE grades, and UCAT or BMAT threshold. So once you've eliminated the universities you do not meet the entry requirements for, eliminate the universities you're not sitting the correct admissions test for. For example, if you've decided you are going to take the UCAT, or sorry if I keep saying UCAT, that's what it was back in my day, you cannot put Oxford, Cambridge, Imperial, UCL on your UCAT application. You need to make an informed decision on whether you're going to do just the UCAT or the UKCAT and the BMAT. You need to decide which admissions test plays to your strengths. Are you better at quick fire multiple choice questions, or do you feel like you need an essay, like you need written extended questions to be able to show your strengths? Would you prefer to sit the exam during the summer before year 13, which you can do with the UKCAT, or are you okay sitting the BMAT exam whilst doing your final year of A-levels? The third step, which I've alluded to already and is genuinely the most important step, is that you have to look at the detailed formula that each university that's left in your list chooses its applicants and apply to your strengths. So your application will be comprised of your predicted grades for A-level, your GCSE grades, your UKCAT and BMAT score, your personal statement. Have a think about which part of this application is your strongest point, and then which one of these sections did you not do so well on. Applying to Exeter was a really smart move on my side, because if you spend some time looking at the entry requirements for Exeter, and I don't mean just the website, I mean PDF documents that they've published, etc., you will see that they rank people based on their predicted grades and they put them into groups, and from those groups then they then select candidates. So my predictions were 3 A stars. That automatically puts me in the priority group, which means they're more likely to overlook the fact that I had a poor UKCAT. If, for example, you got 3 A's but got 3,000, if that's possible, I'm not sure, on the UKCAT, universities like Edinburgh ranks you based on the UKCAT, so you're much more likely to be accepted there. So this is what I'm saying. It's not necessarily that you have a bad application, it's just that different universities look at different things. So to sum up, this step is look at the strong points of your application and apply to universities that prioritise this. Now that we've covered the 3 most important steps of eliminating medical schools, now you should have a much smaller list which you're able to start eliminating further. We're now eliminating based on your preference for what university is best for you. So the first factor I'm going to talk about is course and learning structure. So the infamous PBL, problem-based learning, traditional course and integrated course. You should do your own research as to what a PBL, what a traditional and what an integrated course actually is. So do this by looking it up, simply typing it into Google, looking at the Medic portal, looking at different YouTubers which talk about their experiences with each type of course, and look at what each university you like has to say about what their type of course involves. So a PBL course is essentially when the medical course is taught in small group seminars which have a tutor, or I know they sometimes call it a facilitator. Week in and week out you have a case study about a different medical condition, and you have a set of learning objectives, and you have to meet these learning objectives through discussions and through your own research that you go away and do following the seminars. The second type of course is traditional. This is essentially what they do at Oxbridge and Imperial College London. You have 3 pre-clinical years which is purely theory based. You do not have any clinical exposure in the form of GP placements, in the form of hospital community care. You do not learn any clinical skills. It's purely scientific information you're learning in the first 3 years. This is followed by 3 years of clinical experience where you're only working in hospitals, GP placements and in the community, and you don't really have any lecture-based lessons. The third type is integrated, and this is what I do, and I may be a bit biased, but I think this is the most ideal course type, and I'm not really sure why other course types exist. With an integrated course, you get the best of both worlds. In your early years, you have quite a few lectures where you basically get all the scientific foundation that you need for medicine. So you get taught pharmacology, you get taught anatomy, physiology, for example. But diffused through these lectures, you do get clinical experience. So you do learn clinical skills, you do learn how to use your stethoscope, how to examine a patient, how to speak to a patient. You go on GP placements and you go on hospital visits, and this increases in frequency as you go on in your medical course. For example, halfway through 3rd year, 4th and 5th year, it's basically purely clinical. work that you're doing, and it's the first 2 years which, although are predominantly lecture based, just like you would get in a traditional course, you do have PBL elements to it. For example, we do have seminar groups where we do discuss medical ethics together, where we do dissections, and also weekly we get a case study which we have to diagnose, which we have to think about the treatment options for the symptoms, etc. The other factor to think about when it comes to applying to university is location. Think about if you want to live close to home or far away from home. Do you not want to live in a particular city? For example, with me, I grew up in London. I didn't want to go to university in London because I didn't want to live at home, and I didn't want to pay £7 a year just to live 20 minutes from my house. So I said to myself, right, not London, which really was a shame because I love UCL and I really wish I'd gone to UCL. Or whether you want to live in a big city or a little city. With a big city, you'll meet lots of people, there'll be lots to do, but with a little city, you perhaps will get to know the town more easily, there's less of a commute. The third factor is campus or city university. So a campus university is where all the sites, including accommodation, lecture halls, restaurants, are all in one location. So you have an entrance to the university, it's gated, and you'll find all the faculties in that site. A non-campus university, so a city university, is where the campus is spread out throughout the city. So for example, your accommodation will be a train ride away from where you're having your lecture, or the library. An example of a campus university is the University of Nottingham, is the University of Birmingham, is the University of Exeter. An example of a city university is Bristol, King's College London, UCL, Imperial. And the pros of a campus university is that everything is really close. This is so useful because when you have a 9 a.m. lecture, you will literally live only a 10-minute walk from your lecture hall. So this means that you can get up much later, that you can stay up late studying at the library because you know you'll be close to home. It'll be really easy to stay close to people because you'll constantly be close together, so it's easy to meet up and coordinate activities. Everything is in a short walk's distance, and it really feels like you're in a mini city. You have the library, you have the gym, you have the student union, you have your accommodation right there, and I think that's a really beautiful experience. However, the cons, which I also experienced, is that life can feel so repetitive. It can really feel like you're waking up, going to the library, going to your lecture hall and back, and it feels like such a stress to go all the way into town. For example, where I lived in Nottingham, I was about 25 minutes by bus from the town centre, and I never went. So yeah, it can feel quite repetitive and boring just to be constantly confined to one space. The pros of living in a city campus is that you're constantly going to new places, you have so much to do, you're constantly out of your accommodation travelling, and I think that gives you a really diverse day-to-day life. And a con is the commute could be your worst enemy. For example, if you have a 9 a.m. lecture and you live 45 minutes from your university lecture hall, then it can be a real stress to make it during rush hour to where you're studying. Another thing is that it might be more difficult to have such close-knit friends, simply because you'll all be living in different areas, and it'll be hard to spend a lot of time together. So the next one is how big the university that you're applying to is. And this essentially influences the facilities there are, the number of societies that offer. So are you into something really niche like caving? Do you really want to get involved in a really big orchestra at uni? So once you've eliminated as many medical schools as you can from your list and you're looking at your top few, really do your research. Look at what people have to say on the student room. Look at medical student YouTubers that go to each uni and look at their vlogs. Do you like the facilities they're showing you? Do you like what their day-to-day looks like? Look at blogs. Go on open days or virtual open days. Look on the course website. Look at their prospectuses. This will enable you to get a comprehensive and informed view on that university to really see if it's made for you. Because you're going to be spending 5 to 6 years of your life in this university. You're going to be spending thousands of pounds going there. You're going to be studying the most difficult degree, well, one of the most difficult degrees out there. So you want to be in an environment that's best going to enable you to be able to be as successful as you can be. So if you're in an environment that enables you to, that's the best thing you can get out of your medical school. Remember to apply to a safety university, a university which perhaps has slightly lower grades than your predicted grades, because although you can be aiming for your dream university, things may not go well on results day. So I'd really suggest you apply to a safety university just in case it doesn't work out. If it doesn't work out, it's not impossible to do medicine, okay? You can resit and remember to check which universities accept resits. You can do a different degree, so for example biochemistry or biomedical science, and then transfer. Check which universities allow transfers. You can always do another degree and apply for graduate entry medicine. So there are options for you, and do make sure to research that. Sorry that today's video was so long, but I hope it really helped you guys on understanding how to apply to the right medical school to ensure that you're successful in getting an offer. Because you can have a strong application, but by applying to the wrong medical school, you might be unsuccessful. Please stay tuned and subscribe to my channel to see the rest of the videos on this series that will help you getting to medical school. Please make sure to like, comment and share this video if you found it helpful, and follow me on Instagram. And I just want to say thank you to my beautiful 803 subscribers. I'm so appreciative of you, and I'm so excited for the road ahead of us on YouTube, and thank you so much for watching my video. Bye.